Hey peeps! I have makeup on this week. I batch film, so if you saw the video from last week, I did not have makeup, and now I have makeup. But for me, it's been like 20 minutes. For you, it's been a week. So I found another AITA. If it goes like last week's did, we'll be doing one. We'll see. This is kind of a beefy one too. It's a beefy one, so we'll just plan on doing the one for right now. All I've read is the title. I have not read any further into this. So last week I kind of saved all my comments till the very end. I'll probably smatter my comments into this one. So let me know which style you prefer, and I will kind of try to cater my reading style to that. Otherwise, I kind of state all my comments while I'm reading it. Anyway, that is a terrible intro. Hi, my name is Ducky, also known as Ducky Craft, also known as Don't Tread on Me. I am a duck, owner of Ducky Dips. Yes, that is the name of my business. I dip strawberries, don't get too excited. It's not anything crazy. I don't dip ducks. Although now that's an idea. Ooh, dipped peeps. Can I get peeps year round? Sorry, a total ADHD moment. Anyway, AITA. We're like a minute and a half into this video and I haven't gotten to it yet. So if you were listening, thank you for listening and dealing with me this far. So this is AITA for admitting I have a problem with the way my dad remarried when I was younger and the fact he expected me to accept her as my mom. So without reading any further, immediately we're dealing with blended family situation, and unfortunately I have friends who married men with children, or in one case married a woman with children, and it's just kind of expected that the step parent is going to become the parent. That is not how the kids see it. And if it's not handled right, the kids can be resentful of the step parent. In fact, most of the time they are, unfortunately. If it's not handled right, let me add that caveat, because I've seen cases where it's handled perfectly, and yes, the step parent is still the step parent, but there's no resentment towards that step parent. It's different. Not sure about this lip color on me. Doesn't matter. I broke the lipstick stick. I can totally make up. Anyway, so this starts with my mom died when I, 18 female, was 4 days old. Before someone says that's really rare, that is more common than people think. My mind immediately went to eclampsia. Undiagnosed eclampsia. So, and it could be for a lot of reasons. 4 days old. That's all it says. When I was little, my dad told me all about her. He talked about her as the love of his life and irreplaceable. He'd tell me about the dreams she had for me and her. How she named me and wanted me so badly, and how much he loved her. Most nights my bedtime stories were memories of her or the two of them. We had her photos up in the house. Her hobby was left the way she wanted it. My dad told me how no woman could compare and he could never love someone else again. He said he'd always wear his wedding ring, and he used to make jokes about it being glued to his finger intentionally so nobody could remove it. Aww. Starting out really sweet. Our lives didn't revolve around her, but she was kept a big presence in my life. He said he wanted me to know more than anything that I have a mom and she loved me always, and that she never chose to leave. I was 8 when my dad came home with a woman and told me he had fallen in love and proposed to her. He told me she'd be moving in soon and that he wanted me and her to be close, and he wanted me to look forward to having a mom and being her daughter. His wife was very eager to meet me. We got along fine when we met, but it was clear she was looking forward to being a mom to a motherless little girl, and I wanted no part of that equation. That's where we say step-parenting has been done wrong. There was an expectation set that never should have been set on a child who had been raised by a single parent and who had a mother. Her mother was just deceased. My dad took off his wedding ring, then lost it. That might have been why he didn't take it off. He took down Mom's photos and he cleared out her hobby room. Before his wife, then fiancée, at the time moved in, he even had a lot of her stuff put up where Mom's was. Oh, had the fiancé stuff put up where Mom's was. The talks about Mom stopped. Not entirely, but her birthday, and if I pressed hard enough, he'd talk about her. Otherwise, he'd tell me that it would be mean to his wife to talk about Mom so much. He told me she shouldn't feel second best. She knew she married a man who was widowed. I'm not going to have a lot of sympathy there. I never accepted my stepmother, not really. I didn't even consider her my stepmother. To me, she was my dad's second wife, but even without ever knowing what it was like to be raised by a mom, she was never that to me. I was strongly secure in the fact my mom was the woman who gave me life and who died when I was a baby, that my lack of memory of her didn't change that because I loved her. I loved that she loved me so much and that she annoyed the crap out of her siblings when she was younger. I loved that she and my dad agreed on most stuff but struggled to agree on the division of household tasks, and that she could hold a grudge. Sounds human. I'm saying all this because I wanted to be clear that she was not talked about in a way that was always a perfect light. I know she had flaws and was a real person. I don't love this idea that we'd have always been close. I think we would have clashed at times, but I know we never would have stopped loving each other, and I've always felt wrong about this whole you can have two moms thing. I know people can, and I support anyone who does, but it was not for me. It upsets my mother, but I blame Dad for leading her on after years of raising me to be my mom's daughter and not some new woman's daughter. My relationship with Dad has struggled since the day he told me he fell in love and was engaged. I felt blindsided, and I always wondered how he could change his feelings so fast. Going from, I'd feel like I was cheating if I dated or fell in love again, to, I'm in love and getting married again in the space of a few months. I know people do change their minds, but it felt so sudden and so extreme. The fact he lost his first wedding ring and didn't even care. The fact he expected this new woman to be my mom and that I'd be okay with it like that. The fact that a month after meeting her, she moved in and 3 months later, she was my stepmother. Oh, wow, that is fast for a kid. I feel like my dad let me down and set us all up for failure. Not because he remarried, but he set expectations with both of us that could never be met, and it was such a sudden and extreme shift for me. While his wife had her hopes of motherhood crushed, she and my dad tried to have kids, but she miscarried 5 times. Oh my. This has come up with my dad recently. I moved out in October, and I haven't called or visited all that much. Dad tried to tell me I should visit more because he and his wife need their only daughter after their losses, and I told him I'm not her daughter. This led to a discussion on the distance between me and her and me and him, and I told him how I felt. I pointed out he mishandled everything with the transition, and I told him I would always have an issue with the way he remarried and the fact he expected me to expect some woman as my mom just because he decided to marry her. I told him he had built me up to be his and mom's daughter, and I was never going to be another woman's daughter after that. He told me I was so young, and he expected me to be resilient and adjust to the change well. Why do people think that with kids? Why? They are human beings too. Oh my God. I joke that they are made of rubber, but they are not actually made of rubber. They're made of silicone instead. That was meant to be funny. He thought I'd want his wife around when I hit puberty, and he said instead I found other people and him. This led to more talking, and he got upset that I told him I had a problem with how he handled it. Then his wife called me after the talk, and she told me she was upset I wouldn't love her or let her be my mom because of Dad's actions. Yeah? She told me I'd upset my dad too, and now both of them are heartbroken. I'm going to use that in quotation marks because there's an ulterior motive here, and I'll get into that in a sec. I feel like Dad needed to hear it, but maybe I am the asshole and should have left it alone. So am I the asshole? I'm not going to read that comment just yet. I was like reading, I read ahead. Immediately, I'm like, no, you're not the asshole. You are entitled to your feelings. Your feelings are valid. You were 8 years old when your dad married another woman after you'd spent 8 years being taught your mom loved you, but your mom died. It was really tragic, but she's always going to be in your life. I'm always going to keep her around. I'm always going to have her pictures up. I'll never lose my wedding ring. And then all of a sudden at 8 years old, you completely shift and change everything. To a child's mind, children need that stability, and that was a total shift in stability. She wasn't slowly introduced to this woman as, well, this is Dad's friend. And a couple of months later, we're kind of thinking of, maybe moving in together. Now, how do you feel about that? Maybe giving the kid some input, even though the kid ultimately doesn't have a say in what happens, but give her let her have some input. Let her express comfort. Let her get to know the person. Don't just suddenly introduce a person and then get married and everything's going to be all happy, dappy, hippy dippy, hunky dory. That's not how that works. Children are human beings. Oh my goodness, I'm thinking of a pro-life argument I had with someone who's literally her care of the infant stops at birth. It is not, if you are pro-life and your care of the baby and the mother stops at birth, you are not pro-life, you are pro-birth. Okay, I'm done. So, children, it's just, I've completely lost my train of thread, my thread of thought. Words. So it's just, she's right. Her dad handled it all wrong. So where I was going, I remember now. So I was saying you introduce the child slowly. So from the time he introduced the woman, it was to the time she moved in was a month. And then 3 months later, they were legally married. That is too short. I kind of grouse at people when they have like a 3-year-long engagement. I feel differently when we're blending families. I feel differently about that when there are kids involved. Kids take some transition time. It's a thing. And so, yeah, I agree with her. Her dad handled it all wrong. And he's heartbroken. The ulterior motive there being he wanted his trophy child to love his trophy wife. And trophy wife tried to do the pump out baby after baby after baby thing, and it didn't work. Her body wouldn't let her. Some women's bodies aren't made to have children. Why society can't accept this, I don't understand. I'm stopping. I'm quitting. Yeah. So, the first comment, it states unpopular opinion, but whatever, I'll say it. If I was married and my spouse died and I got remarried, the second woman is now my wife. But she'll never be the mother of my kids. Okay. Not too upset here. Obviously, I'd want the kids to be respectful to her and vice versa, but I wouldn't expect them to address her as mom. Agreed. So I get where you're coming from. No, you're not the asshole for expressing how you feel. And then OP does respond. I love OP's name. It's Little Star. There's a bunch of numbers after that, but Little Star. And she states, I'm glad you have this opinion. Of course, maybe your kids would feel like she is their own. But I think she meant she's their mom. She is their own mom. But I think so many people would have better second marriages if more people saw their dating life as getting a new partner and not a mom or dad for their kids. And I agree with that. I'm going to completely agree with OP here. And I know OP is hurting. And OP's feelings are very, very valid. OP will probably never see this video, but your feelings are extremely valid. And your dad handled that so badly. Your dad handled that like a typical white Christian in America. Oh, but my kid needs a mom and I need a partner. Your child is a human being. It's the comment about, well, you were a kid. I thought you'd be resilient. Please stop thinking that of kids. I mean, yes, they are very resilient. Yes, kids do get over things. Yes, kids do move on. And they grow out of things or they grow into things. But don't just immediately assume, they'll be fine. No, they won't be. They're developing human beings. They are human beings. I mean, honestly, human beings are developing all through their life. Convince me otherwise. And then, okay, I read ahead, but NTA, it sounds like he didn't even let you properly meet her first. I touched on that before he decided he was going to marry her. He built up your mother as his one and only a few months late, and then a few months later, erased her presence from the house because it would be mean to his new wife, like it wasn't mean to you. And OP responds, 8 years of being told mom was the love of his life, and him talking about what a great mom she was and could have been, and suddenly she's being put away and left in the past. That is exactly how a kid would feel. That's how any kid would feel, not just OP. It's not realistic to expect that to go well. And I agree. Okay, so there's one more comment where OP did respond. There, it's kind of showing me. So Tarzan Kitty. Oh my goodness. If there's Kitty in the name, I always take note. Tell your dad that how about you pick out your own new mom to support you in this. He must make your new choice of mom his wife. That he would be terrible and selfish if he won't love your new mom as his wife. Oh, I get what they're saying. It may sound ridiculous, but this is exactly what he was asking of you. And then OP is stating, I know, and I did ask him how he'd like if I came home one day and said I found a new mom and she was going to be his wife. He told me that's so vastly different. But I'm not sure how. I don't see how, is what she said. Both is forcing a relationship on a person who doesn't consent. And a child didn't consent. A child can't consent. So that's why I'm like, he didn't handle that well. And then Tarzan Kitty states, it's not that vastly different. It is exactly the same thing. If he can force a mom on you without you getting an opinion on the matter, then you should be able to force a wife on him without him getting an opinion on the matter. And I agree. Like, we'll just do one for this video because it's like 15 minutes long. So next week you'll see me in a wig. I'm sorry, OP. I'm sorry. Your dad handled that all kinds of wrong. He handled that the typical traditional Christian male way. And yes, you will hear me pick on Christians a lot. I came out of a Christian cult. I will pick on them a lot. But my child needs a mother. No, your child needs a parent who actually cares and isn't going to just foist off responsibility onto somebody else because it's easier. I'm harsh. I'm very harsh. I know I'm harsh. So, that was that one. Goodness. So, if you stuck around for all of that, thank you. Like, subscribe, comment, do all the YouTube-y things. I think last week I had said wedding horror stories. I would love to hear those. I'm still have an open invitation on MLM horror stories, because that would be a fun video as well. Fun for me, probably less fun for you guys re-experiencing it. Think of it as therapy. Think of it as you're just talking to your therapist. Except that your therapist might laugh and make fun of you. Honestly, though, with MLM stuff, I don't tend to. I usually identify. Oh my goodness. I'll make a video where I talk about Western Christianity, and I know a lot of people think Mormonism with MLMs, but oh my. Just the Mormons. Oh my. So if you hung out for this whole thing, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for putting up with my random rambling, my weird political injections, and I hope you come back next week. I'll have a wig on. I like my hair. It's so nice and cool, though. Like, seriously. Like, I did have to, like, shape it this time, because this... You can't really see because my camera's grainy, but there are, like, really bad sores right here, and they itch so much. Anyway, TMI. Probably a lot of TMI. So, thanks for hanging out. I will hopefully see you next week, and you guys have a good day. Later, peeps.